Welcome everybody to a special edition of Wisdom Awakening. I'm usually on with you at 8:30 every morning, Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. I'm coming to you with a special edition today because I'm sitting in my new studio, what we're going to call the Awakening Studio, as going to be part of the Awakening Network that we're building. We're going to be on Sunday mornings. We're going to be on television, on a number of ministries around the country. A number of networks around the country. We are going to be on Amazon. We're going to be on Roku. We're going to be on an app that you'll be able to download to your telephone in order to watch our programs. So we got a lot of exciting things happening, and I just wanted we're kind of giving it a test run, so to speak. So I hope you all don't mind. I do have some substantive things to say, but I won't be with you very long today because this is not a real program. It's really a special edition just to test out our system and to give you an opportunity to realize we are making progress because of you, because of your support, your prayers, your contributions. We are constantly making progress in getting the world out, awakening our fellow countrymen to the truth of the Word of God and the glory and beauty of one of the greatest gifts God has ever given mankind, which is the United States of America. Now, this is Saturday. Don't forget, tomorrow I will be preaching at my own church, the Call Church at 943 Canal Drive in Chesapeake. And by the way, I will be there for the foreseeable future. I know some of you may think, well, I'd like to visit, but I wonder, is he going to be there? Because I do travel quite a bit, but I don't have any engagement scheduled anytime soon. So come pretty much any Sunday and I will be there. Of course, next Sunday is Palm Sunday. Obviously, I'll be there. The following Sunday is Resurrection Sunday. Come visit us on Resurrection Sunday. Come be a part of a great worship service. By the way, tomorrow I'm preaching the fourth message in a series entitled The Fruit of Discipleship, and the sermon is entitled Self-Control. And if you're one of those people who would like to exercise a greater degree of self-control in your life, you ought to come hear this message because I'll be giving you some very practical but biblical principles on how you get that done. What I wanted to share with you very, very briefly this morning, is it morning? Oh, no, it's afternoon already. Wow, it's been a long day already. But what I wanted to share with you is this. You know, I announced a principle on my radio program called ROS. It is a disease. It is a syndrome. It is a virus. It is a plague. ROS is racial obsession syndrome. It is when people are so obsessed with race that they can't see anything else. They can't understand things except through the perception of race. We as Christians ought to see the world through a biblical lens. We ought to have a biblical worldview, not a racial worldview. We ought to see people as God sees them, not looking at their outward appearance, but looking to understand their heart, looking at their character, looking at their competence. Dr. King said the same thing in one of his famous statements. I long for the day when my children would no longer be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Well, that's a godly way of looking at people. And therefore, you don't see people as just part of some conglomeration, some mass, some group. Oh, he's one of that. He's one of these. He's one of those. No, you see each person as an individual. Well, I shared that, and then immediately after I sort of put that forward, the following day the shooting happened down in Georgia with these massage parlors, and I think 8 people were killed, 5 of them Asians, 2 Americans of European ancestry, and 1 American of Hispanic ancestry. And I noted that immediately, instead of the press trying to understand what was wrong with this young man who committed this heinous act, they immediately started saying, is this a hate crime? Is this a hate crime? Is this a hate crime? Is somebody out to get Asians? The man said that he had an addiction and that he was trying to deal with the frustration that he felt. Now, obviously, he's mentally ill, obviously way, way off. That doesn't mean he's not guilty, but I mean his brain is not working properly, and he needs to be adjudicated for the commission of this crime, and appropriate punishment needs to be meted out, and that punishment has got to be severe because he committed a heinous act. However, in the midst of that, we completely lost sight of a major problem in our country, and that is the problem of human trafficking. And those places that he was frequenting, my understanding is, based on research we've done since, there are 9,000 of them around our country. 9,000. and they are primarily staffed by Asians. And that's not, see, the press doesn't want to touch this because you can't, just like you can't criticize China, because if you criticize China, you're a racist. Well, we're not criticizing all Chinese people. We're critiquing the communist Chinese regime. It's evil, it's wicked, it's wrong. It oppresses and kills its own people, and it has no good intent toward the United States of America. And we ought to critique that. But the mainstream media is so ROS, so racial obsessive, so filled with ROS, racial obsession syndrome, that they can't see anything else. Well, in the same way, we've got young people being trafficked by organized crime into these institutions, and nobody's even talking about it. Nobody's even addressing it, and it is a major problem. It is a exploitation and a scourge against Asian people, coming primarily from Thailand, China, and South Korea. And it's a shame, but we can't address the problem, because if you address the problem, somehow you are racist. That is racist, because if you are a sincere human being and you care about people, then you want to address the problem, not because you want to slander a particular group of people, but because you want to save the young people who are being victimized by this stuff. And so I just wanted to have you be thinking about that and talking about that, and not allowing people to shut down discussions of important truth because they want to drape it in a veneer of somehow it's racial if you bring that up. I mean, I've said the same thing with regard to the literally hundreds of young black men who are killed in the inner cities across this country every single year. 7,500 in 2020. That's almost twice as many as soldiers and sailors and Marines we lost in the Iraq War in a 13-year period. And that's happening every year in our inner cities. But you can't address that. No. We don't want to mention that, because if you bring that up, you're a racist. Well, enough of that. We need to diagnose ROS and commit it for what it is. It is a mental and psychological and spiritual bondage that needs to be thrown out, so that we can really address the problems in our country in a way that is decent and fair and kind, aggressive toward the evildoers, and compassionate toward their victims. So, as always, folks, I've got plenty on my mind to talk about. I'll get back into this next week on Wisdom Awakening. Welcome to the Awakening Network. Welcome to the Awakening Studios. And thank you all for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Pray for me, because I'll certainly be praying for you. I love you all. And remember this: we cannot be defeated if we will not quit, because we are on God's side.